right, welcome back. I'm True, your host with No B.S. Sports, and today we got a very special guest joining the show, a recipient of the Michigan Mr. Hockey Award, a state champ, a WCHA champ, an undrafted free agent who became an AHL All-Star, a part-time pro Call of Duty Warzone player, plays with the Minnesota Wild. It's Jerry time. Welcome to No B.S. Sports. Gerald Mayhew.
How you guys doing?
Doing great.
I'm good, man.
So what have you been doing to keep yourself busy during quarantine?
Well, I just got a pup the other day. He's keeping me busy. Like you said, I've been ripping some vids pretty much all day, every day. Now that it's getting nicer, I think I'll be golfing a little more. Not a huge fan of walking, but got to get out of the house somehow.
Yeah, understandable. What kind of puppy you get?
Mini golden doodle. He was yesterday, so
Okay.
he's getting wild.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Shane's going to get started with talking about, you going in the future. So,
Yeah, we were just kind of wondering. We saw some reports or some rumors heading around about the NBA and the NHL trying to get going again in July in just a few cities across the country. Have you seen anything about that, or have your teams communicated what the plans are?
Yeah, so they have calls every week with the league, and right now it's still, there's a bunch of different situations that can happen, and there's some states that are allowing small group workout facilities to be open, but that's difficult because we have guys in Europe and different states that are still, like Michigan, still in quarantine. We can't leave, and we only can leave for essential things, and it's tough. So it's kind of just playing around with it. There's no set in stone thing, but I know they really want to finish the season. They even talked about maybe playing in, July and August and then starting in November. That's one scenario. But it's still up in the air. We really don't know what's going on. It's kind of sucks. You have to keep working out, and you never know when you're going to get back on the ice.
Makes sense for sure.
So the next question I want to ask, so in 2011 you win Mr. Hockey and a state championship, and then after that you go to the USHL. How does the process go from going to a juniors team and then as well from juniors to college?
So when I was in junior, I had a guy reach out. He asked me to be my agent. So, I met up with him, talked to him for a little bit. And then actually when you're in junior, it's your advisor because you can't pay him yet. You're not professional. So he helps you get there. And I think it was my first year toward Christmas time. Ferris State came and, they asked me to go on a visit, and I did. They offered me right there. And then, I had two or three other visits still lined up. And I asked if they could give me some time, and they said, yeah. I was supposed to go to Ohio State and St. Cloud within the next couple of weeks. And then I get a phone call maybe 3 days later, and it's Ferris State's head coach saying, we're gonna need you to make a decision now, because if you're not going to commit, then we're going to give it to somebody else. So it was a no-brainer. They were number one in the nation at the time. So, I said, yeah, absolutely. I'll commit right now. And I did. And, I was kind of bummed because it was the CCHA at the time, and they had, Michigan State, Western in that league. And the year I went, they switched to the WCHA. So I was a little bummed in that because that'd been cool to play in the CCHA, but it was a great 4 years there. We had a really good team my freshman year and my junior year, made it pretty far in the tourney. But overall, it was a great experience.
That's awesome. That's a really cool story, honestly.
Yeah, so talking about Ferris, with your winning experience there, winning a WCHA title in that 2015-2016 year and having a pretty successful individual career, did you think you had a shot at getting drafted? And if you didn't, what was the next step if it wasn't hockey?
Well, I didn't think I was going to get drafted because I was a little bit older. The way they do the draft is by year, so it's usually the younger guys in junior or the younger guy, like real young guys in college. So I knew I probably wouldn't get drafted, and that makes it kind of hard, which I kind of love. It pushes me to even go harder. Yes, and I did think about, not making it. I got a degree in marketing at Ferris, but yeah, I mean, the only thing I ever wanted to do since I was 4 years old was play in the NHL, and I wasn't going to let anybody stop me.
And did you ever look at like scouting reports on yourself to see like what teams were talking about? And if you did, you liked
No,
them?
I try to stay away from that stuff.
Yeah.
Just go out and play. That's pretty much all I do. And I worked really hard to get where I am today, and I had a lot of people doubt me, being a smaller guy, and it just worked out for me, and I'm blessed for that.
That's awesome.
So next question we wanted to ask was, how was it scoring your first NHL goal? And did you take it to the bench after you scored, or later that night? So like, how was the experience?
It was awesome. I had a bunch of family drive. I think our first game on the road trip was in Ottawa, and my dad, my cousin, and my uncle drove down from Michigan the night they knew I got called up, and I didn't play. So I was kind of bummed. And then after the game, coach told me, he's like, you're gonna make your debut in Toronto. And I was like, okay, that's awesome. And so, I was a little nervous. I got to do the solo lap by myself, which was cool. And I think we were down, I think it was 4-1 with like 2 minutes left, and I scored. So, I couldn't really sally or act excited because we were down. But deep down, I was jumping for joy. And I think Ryan Donato, my teammate, picked up the puck for me, and they give it to the trainer, and then they put it in like a frame and like what day it was, who it was against. So I didn't get it until maybe a month later. But it was awesome. I had so much family there in Toronto. My girlfriend was there. It was a pretty special moment for me and my family, I'm assuming.
To feed off that question, you end up playing in Detroit in February. I was at the game. How surreal was that moment to grow up very close to Detroit? Probably being a Red Wings fan growing up, just to play in front of all your friends and family. They don't have to go far. I mean, literally like a 30-minute drive from here to have all those people. I mean, I went to a couple Wings games this year, and I mean, I hadn't seen the arena that full, but like when you were there was just a whole section that was Gerald Mayhew fans. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah, that was awesome. When I got called back up and I knew that was on the schedule, I was really hoping I'd play, and luckily enough I did. And I got to go home for dinner the night before with my mom. She made some dinner for me, and I went back to the hotel. And yeah, it was cool. I came out for warm-ups. I saw a lot of people I knew on the glass, and my dream when I was little was to play for the Red Wings, obviously, being from Detroit and getting to play against them. It's pretty surreal, That was my first time actually in Little Caesars Arena, and that place is pretty cool. So it was a great game. I think we won 7-1.
Yeah, and you're +3, I think.
Yeah. So it was a fun game. Play against guys you grew up watching and playing against even. So it was probably my greatest experience so far.
Yeah, it was pretty surreal, like just being there, like seeing all the people that like all there just for you, and then like even after the game, like there's 200-300 people plus like waiting to like after the game to see you.
I had my family down in the place where they come and see, and the usher comes up to me. He's like, you got probably 200-300 people up there waiting for you. I go, I have 10 minutes. I honestly can't get up there because when I have to say hi and come right back down to my family. So that kind of sucked. I wish we were able to stay after, but we had to fly out to Columbus. So I didn't get to see anybody, which I was a little bummed, but it was awesome seeing the support I had.
Yeah, that's cool. It was just cool to see.
Yeah, I know you mentioned that you're up down all the time from AHL to NHL. Is there a difference in like mindset you got to have, or even a difference in the atmosphere in the locker rooms compared to the two leagues?
Yeah, I mean, they're totally different teams. One day you could get done with your American League game and coach come up to you, you're getting called up, you have to leave tonight. and get in there. You'll get in there. You don't get much sleep. That's one of the hardest things, getting called up and down, is, you don't have any security. You don't know if you're going to stay for long or what's going to happen. That's why being a full-time NHLer is a little less stressful. But I'm honored to be called up and get to play NHL games and play against the greats like Ovechkin and McDavid. It's just pretty crazy to see them live.
Just a quick question I wanted to add real quick before you went, Damon. Just like, I know like a lot of professional athletes, like even from like a minor to a major, like everyone says the game speed's faster. Would you say like that translates, or anything else that really just sticks out other than just like maybe the game speed?
Yeah. I think the size is a little bit different. They're bigger and faster and stronger. I think everything's on point. You don't see a lot of mishaps in the NHL. There's, the AHL and the NHL is so close, but it's just those little things that, separate them. And the little things like making a pass, no one, doing the little things right. Everyone's in position. It's harder. The goalies are better, goalies are bigger, stuff like that.
Yeah, so you mentioned kind of like with when you're in Detroit, like you didn't really get to stay long after the game. So like, what is it like to like kind of travel all the time and still keep relationships with like family, friends, or even like personal relationships?
Yeah, I've been away from my home since junior, and I had to make new friends, and it's not hard when you play a sport, obviously. And I keep in touch with my good friends, my old teammates, stuff like that. I'd say the travel's a little bit better in the NHL than it is in the American League. You're not on a bus in 8 hours. We're getting chartered flights, which is awesome. That's one of the cool things, and you get to stay in cool hotels and stuff, and it's a great experience. But yeah, again, I keep up with my family, and my family comes to a lot of the games. Even when I'm down in the American League, they came. I have friends come, stuff like that. So it's hard, but I'm used to it now.
So, what are some of your favorite cities that you visited, and ones that you have had low expectations for, but turned out to be like a pretty cool place while you were on the road?
Well, I got to spend a lot of time in Montreal. We were there for a little bit, and I'd have to say that's the coolest rink I played in, and the coolest atmosphere. It kind of has the Euro atmosphere there. It's all French. It's cool. There's a lot of cool restaurants there. I spent some time, did some shopping. It's a lot different than the United States, which is cool to see. We got to spend a little time there. We got to go to California. San Jose, I didn't know too much about it. There was a cool little strip of malls that you could go, great restaurants. I didn't see that coming in San Jose. So those two places were pretty cool.
Just a follow-up question. What was like, as from the stadiums that you played at, which has been your favorite?
Yeah, I think Montreal, because they're diehard hockey fans there. They know the game. It's not just fans yelling just to be there. It's not a show. It's a hockey rink and a hockey fan base. So I think that was the coolest. I had the old time hockey kind of vibe in there. It was, I think that was one of my first games playing, and I was kind of nervous for that game because all the guys were saying, you came at a right time. This is probably the coolest place you'll play in. So that, and, Nashville was very cool.
All right, Jerry, I know you mentioned earlier, like with the game speed and stuff, but what was like the player that you went against where you're like, I'm actually in the NHL, like playing against this guy? Like, that's kind of crazy. I'm lined up against this guy.
Well, at first, it was McDavid. You see him on TV just making everyone look stupid. He's the fastest person I've ever seen in my life on his skates, and he's unbelievable at the puck. And you see it on TV, but until you see it up close, you're like, oh my God, this guy can do it all. No wonder he's the best in the league. But then we played against Ovechkin, and watching him growing up, it's like, wow. And I think he scored 2 against us. And I got to see firsthand in that shot, that one-timer shot right in his office. You know, it's crazy, and he loves the game. He's like a little kid out there. He comes off the ice, he's all mad and yelling at himself. He still cares, and he's been in the league for forever. So that's pretty fun to see when guys are so passionate about the game.
Do you talk any smack out there?
You know, I don't really say much when I'm up. Kind of get a little respect first, and then maybe I'll start saying some stuff. But you know, I keep my mouth shut for the most part.
All right, as we wrap things up here, we had a question. All right, so when we look at your bio, you know, it says you're 5'10". I know you personally, Jerry, and I know, you know, they're probably buffing a couple inches there. So what are we looking at?
I'd say like 5'9" and 3/4.
Okay.
But they round up, you know.
They round up.
Because, like, I think they do it without my shoes on. And, I don't know, it cuts a little bit, obviously. But
Yeah, you get an extra inch or two with the skates on.
yeah, that's nice. But so does everyone else, which
Yeah.
it's not just me. I could maybe get an extender or something.
All right, Gerald, I just want to thank you for joining us today, answering some questions. It was cool talking with you. I mean, you just have a great story, small town kid making it to the NHL, you know. It's just a really cool story, and we're just glad to have you on and just thanking you.
Yeah, well, hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
For sure. Thank you.
We wish you luck. Keep grinding, earn that contract, and, you know, we'll hope to see you in the future. You know, score some goals, maybe win a cup.
Yeah, that'd be great. That's the plan.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
see you guys.